It's the Vibe with Tanya Rad and EJ, and I'm very, very excited to welcome our next guest to the show, James Arthur. Hello.
Hello, how are
Thank
you?
you. I'm so good. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
So I was telling you before we came on, that I had met you once prior in real life, but I was like, I'm sure you don't
Yeah.
remember because I was so in love with you. I like actually couldn't get words out of my mouth.
And I do remember, and I also said I appreciate that you've been quite public in your support of me. So thank you for that as well. Appreciate
That
it.
I honestly, you are such a talented artist. I don't remember exactly how I stumbled upon you, but I did. And I just was like so obsessed. I feel like you write and you sing songs that just speak to my soul.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
Are you really expressive and communicative in your like relationships in real life, or is it easier for you to do it in song?
I think I am. I definitely value communication like above everything. And yeah, I think that's the key to everything. I think good communication, yeah, that's definitely a big part of my personality. I think um, whether I'm able to make myself super vulnerable that much, I'm quite dry, and you've got to do a little bit of digging to get that vulnerable side out of me in everyday life. But yeah, in music, whenever I'm writing, I'm very able to tap into whatever pain I've been through in my younger years or whatever. It's for some reason I've always been able to do that quite easily.
I think that's probably why people can resonate with your music so much because, everybody experiences the same things just in a different form. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? So it's like your words, your lyrics, they're a universal truth. So I think when people listen to that, they can relate it to something that they've experienced
that's a
and then they
very good
become
way to
quite
put it. Yeah,
attached to you in that way. You know what I mean?
yeah, totally. You're totally right. Like, and that's why I love music. It's kind of like a global interface in a way, like making music. So yeah, that's very true.
We'll get into the song that you released in 2020 with Sagala, but I want to just touch a little bit on prior music because that's really the song. It's Lasting Lover. It's with Sagala, and it's the only song you released in 2020.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Well, it was like the rest of the world. I was kind of sitting around at home in lockdown and trying to making an album for myself, writing my own music, and there wasn't anything really ready to showcase to the world yet. And me and Sigala have talked about collaborating for quite a long time. We just couldn't really find the right song and a song that would suit us both. And yeah, this song came along at the right time, and it felt uplifting. And I wanted to jump on board, and collaborating with Sigala was really easy because he's a true musician and he's a proper artist. And um, the whole Zoom collaborating thing was very easy because he's such a good guy and he's so good at what he does. And yeah, it's been amazing to see the reaction to it. It's really connected over here in the UK, and now it's starting to make little ripples in America. So let's hope it keeps going.
So you guys did it together on Zoom, but you have had a relationship in the past, correct?
Yeah. There's a funny post I put out a little while ago where I screenshotted that Sagala had actually tweeted me, sent me a DM in like 2017 and said we should work together, and I responded to him in 2020, and then we kind of just we figured out the song that we were going to do, and then it came to be quite organically.
There's a lesson for everybody listening. If you speak something into the universe, it might take a few years,
Yeah,
but it will happen.
yeah. Well, we'd been mates and seen each other at certain things, and but that particular conversation about collaborating, yeah, and it never really, the wheels never really got in motion until this year.
And then what do you have any plans to release anything new in 2021, new year? Like what have you been doing during
Uh,
quarantine? I think there are
yeah,
people that like you might be different. You might like have gone through phases. I feel like in the beginning, I was super unmotivated and super sad during quarantine. And then I
Yeah.
like flipped the switch and became very motivated. And like, what has
Yeah.
it been like for you?
I did exactly the same thing, exactly the same journey for me. I spent the first month sitting in my pants playing video games, really like just being pretty depressed.
Yeah.
And like I had a fair bit of health anxiety because I have a little bit of asthma and things like that. So, and I've always been that guy who's a bit like, I'm going to be the one that dies young or whatever, which sounds really morbid. So apologies for that. But yeah, it was a weird time, you know, used to touring for the last 7-8 years, just always on the go, always traveling. And then to have a full stop and sort of all of the kind of media frenzy and stuff, it was hard, you know. I'm sure everyone felt it. But then, like you said, something happened kind of midway through the lockdown, and I said to myself, I can't keep sitting around. I've got to start being proactive and doing stuff, and started going out on hikes and things like that, and just kind of getting healthy because I'd eaten my body weight in cookies and stuff every day. So yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
And
I
then
mean, I was literally like baking like I don't bake. Like I never had time to bake or
yeah,
do anything. And then all of a sudden I was baking all of
bacon, yeah.
these things and eating
Yeah,
it. And I was like,
yeah.
what is happening?
Just doing random stuff. Yeah, but yeah, I think you know, it probably sounds like a cliche now, and I'm sure every artist you speak to says the same thing. But it allowed me a bit of a full stop and a bit of reflection time and an opportunity to really look inside myself and figure out what kind of music I wanted to make. And I think I've made an album that I'm more proud of than ever because it actually feels coherent. It feels like it's all from the same period of reflection. My previous albums were maybe a little bit disjointed just because I'm traveling here and there and going to different studios, working with different producers. Whereas I had no choice but to make it in my house, just in one spot, and it just sounds really um, cool. I think somehow it sounds like me.
So
So
it's
yeah, that's kind of
locked
what I've
and
been
loaded
doing.
and done, like a full album.
It's good to go, and you know, the first couple of singles I think will be in the early part of 2021. So I'm really excited to come to America actually and play some of those songs for people. Hopefully,
That's very exciting.
yeah.
Care to share any what they're about? Like,
Like I
and if
said,
you
they
can't, I know how, you know, it is, you have like a whole rollout plan and, you know, whatever,
yeah.
but just as a fan, I'm just trying to.
Yeah. Well, what I can say, what I can tease, like, well, yeah. I mean, you know, it is tough to kind of go too deep into it because I don't want to give anything away because I'm so excited about it. I feel like I'm going to just tell you the title of every song, like it's on the tip of my tongue. But I didn't realize how much I needed to reflect on the last few years and what sort of a place I was even in, or that I needed having that mirror held up to me as much as I clearly did. And you hear on this record, you hear someone who's like kind of processing a lot of I guess trauma and stuff that I've been through in my life. So it just feels quite honest, I think.
That's awesome. I do think that a lot of people can, I imagine, will be able to relate to that as well. Because I mean, I know for me, even I never gone to therapy before. And I started going to therapy in the middle of the pandemic because I was just like,
Yeah,
something's going on. And I don't know if it's because I have more time to like sit and think about things, but
yeah,
it's made me realize that there are like, you know, I think everybody has past trauma, whether it's from childhood or whatever it is,
hmm
that they need to like kind of deal with and process. And it affects your relationships as an adult, you know, in such
yeah.
a big way that you don't even realize until you start digging into it.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
so and I mean everything you just said, like there's all of that in this new music, and if that's something that you're going through or have been through, then I think you might be able to relate to the stuff that I'm talking about on this record. And stylistically, it's a bit of a departure from what you might know of me. And
Oh.
there's a bit of rock in there, a little bit of rap in there, and some
Oh.
trap. It's kind of like if if Blink 182 like collaborated with Post Malone or something, like it's a bit of a mad mesh of stuff. So
Cool. Well, that sounds
yeah,
really cool.
yeah, it feels cool. But I'm glad you got to do therapy, because that's massively important.
Oh yeah, every
It's
week.
really
I do
good.
it every week now.
It's great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
started doing it as well, and it helps.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've done a lot of like, I'm very self-aware, or at least I like to think I am.
Yeah,
And so I read a lot of self-help books, and I do a lot of work internally. I've done that for years, but
yeah,
I think there are some things that I never realized that there were a lot of patterns that I had, especially in my like romantic relationships, that
yeah.
stemmed from
From
things in like
childhood.
that like I didn't
Yeah,
even, because I thought I had and I still do think I had a great childhood, but
yeah, yeah.
there are these like little tiny things that can happen to you, like in school, or just in something that can really be this like trigger that you don't even realize.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I mean, yeah, you can have quite a lovely upbringing, but maybe
Yeah.
someone said something to you that stuck with you and manifested into like a major insecurity for your whole life. And yeah, you gotta do that work.
Yeah, totally. So, the new year's looking bright. I feel very
Bright,
hopeful.
positive. Yeah,
Feel
it's
very
good.
hopeful for it. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to new music from you. Everybody that's listening, you can check out Lasting Lover is out now with Sigala and James Arthur, and look forward to new music from James Arthur this year. And what else?
That's it, really.
I mean, if you're listening and you really just want to go back and you want to know my favorite James Arthur song, it's called Naked, and I've never felt more seen in my entire life. So you can check that out if you would like to listen to it as well.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, and hopefully talk to you again soon.
Yes. See you soon. Thank you.